Hi, me back. This is me back. I guess I kind of feel like blabbing these days because I'm uploading quite a bit of videos all at one time, which is cool, which is fine, which is whatever. It doesn't really matter. But I want to coming back. Just been doing a lot of thinking, and as always, and coming back with another topic, which is something that I experienced in my life, and it got some feedback from the woman that I texted out about it, and I just think it's stupid, so I just want to talk about it, which is I don't know what the title of this thing is, something in regards to I guess maybe is it okay to text a woman out, text someone out, in this information age of just people, zombies looking at their phones 24/7. I worked at a video store, or several video stores, but at the time I was working at this video store, the last one I'm afraid probably that I'll ever work at, which is kind of sad. I like video stores and working at them and stuff. So I was working at this video store, it was December or January-ish. That was January 2011. And there had been this woman who I thought was 28 or something, who turned out to be, what was she? 43, I think. I still don't believe it, but whatever. Who was, whatever, like I said in previous videos before, she was exhibiting some signs. I'd check out the movie tour or whatever, and I handed it to her past the security thing, and we'd just sit there and chat before she walked out the door, and I'm like, maybe there's a possibility. And of course, every single person you rent to, you pull up their account by asking for their phone numbers. So every single customer that you help, their phone number and address. Which if you want to be, not that I ever was or will be, but if you wanted to be some kind of a crazy stalker, I know there's video stores still exist in small number, not around me unfortunately, but the video, it's kind of I never saw it, but it kind of reminds me of that movie with Robin Williams, 1 Hour Photo or whatever, where this crazy guy or whatever the hell that movie was about, developed all these people's personal photos and shit. I mean, really, to be in a job like that, or I imagine a bank would be the same thing, where people's. A bank is even worse, where their fucking financial status and how much money they have and their their. I'm getting branching off here, but at a bank, how much money they have and where they live and their phone number and probably their social security number. Everything about the customers working at a bank. That's really creepy. But anyway, I was branching off, but Jesus, I was branching off. I wasted how many? 3.5 minutes talking about shit that's not even related to the topic. I apologize. But so long story short, I actually tried calling. At this particular store, we'd have a receipt and we'd rip it in half, and they'd sign one half for our records, and then they'd take the other half. So I, out of everyone that I rang up, I had it right there, the receipts for my shift. So I could always go back and look at anyone's address or phone number or whatever. So I'm like, why don't I just call her? The vibe was good, whatever. She exhibited strong signals and stuff. So why don't I just call her? This was I don't know, October, November, December, January. This is barely 4 months after my dad died. So I was more reckless. I was like, fuck it, fuck it, And it was actually, I was standing there debating whether or not to ask or to call or whatever, and the image of my dad laying in the hospital bed, basically with just, he died of cancer, basically just skin covering skeleton, staring up at the ceiling with his eyes wide open in his last days. It was a wake-up call, and that's an image that I invoke whenever I'm pondering whether I should do something or not, because it's a reminder to me that this thing called life doesn't last forever, which I'm grateful for. Long story short, holy shit, I tried calling her by the phone number, and of course she, not knowing or I don't know if she could see, like, that it was a video store or what, but regardless, she didn't answer, and I'm like, I didn't want to leave a message because I didn't know her marital status or boyfriend status or anything like that, so I didn't want to leave a message, and then I'm like, well, chances are this is a cell phone, so let's just text. Let's text her out. This is the first time I've ever texted anyone out. And wow, it worked. The very first time worked, And we talked about a movie, some movie, just then, and I wasn't really interested in seeing the movie, but I texted her. I'm like, so hey, you want to see the movie Saturday? She must have said something like, I don't know, she was free Saturday or something. I don't know, but I think I texted her, hey, you want to see such and such movie on Saturday? And then her response was, originally I got a text back right away, and she said, I said, this is yada yada from the video store, and you want to see this yada yada movie on Saturday? And then I got a text back that was said, sure, And then a couple moments later she said something like, that was sure, that was answering your question about the movie or something. She probably felt like that answer maybe wasn't, maybe clear enough, sure, which it wasn't. I mean, it was kind of lame. Long story short, we were basically screwing for the next, we went on 2 dates. The third date, she came over, brought a pizza, and we got naked, but we didn't, we didn't do anything at the time. But long story short, I was screwing her for 3.5 months until she broke it off, or ended it in the spring, right at the end of March. But and then at the end of the quote-unquote relationship, or whatever you want to call it, she had complained afterwards that I had asked her out via text and how lame she thought that was, or something like that. And it didn't occur to me, I didn't at the time, that, well, I should have said, well, I tried calling you first and you didn't answer. But of course, I mean, I don't know, that she didn't really deserve that. I mean, to accept someone's invitation out on a date, and then 3.5 months later say, I thought that was lame the way you asked, I think was lamer than asking someone via text. My personal opinion is, if someone, let's switch this around and say by chance that a woman was ever interested in me, and enough to actually make the first move and somehow knew my phone number and texted me out, I would be delighted that someone was interested in me, first of all, and that someone asked me out. To me, I don't give a flying fuck what manner they ask me out. Not that anyone's ever asked me out, but this is hypothetical if someone did. I'm looking at the screen and not the lens, but you probably don't mind. I don't give a flying fuck in what manner, if I was to be asked out, and I don't care in what manner I'd be asked out, because at the end of the day, it's the same thing. You're asked out, whether it's by sign language, something drawn by a plane in the sky, whether it's an atom bomb that shapes up in the thing of, will you go out with me, or you want to go out on a date, or a phone call or a text. It's the same thing. You're asking. And I thought it was really lame of her, especially having accepted, and having had a lot of fun. I mean, she had a lot of fun, that she said over and over and over in conversations and stuff during the 3.5 months. She had a lot of fun with our situation, as did I. I just thought, how lame, and this is what I don't like about women, after the fact, to say, yeah, by the way, I thought the way you asked me out on a text was lame. And what makes it even stupider is she broke off our relationship with a text. So it's just like kind of hypocrisy there a little bit. So I was just curious. I just wanted to vent and say that, and I was just curious what you guys thought about, texting someone out. I mean, obviously it's much easier to text someone out than it is to ask them out in person or over the phone. I mean, asking someone out via text is the way I'd like to do it, all the time. If I had the choice, like, I should ask women, like, I've got a I got to ask you a question. May I have your phone number? But that's something that's just like thinking about it and just having so much time on my hand this winter, just not working and just sitting around and just thinking about this and that. Something that occurred to me, you know, and something that I wanted to share, and my frustration with, you know, having someone be so nitpicky about, yeah, I thought it was lame that you asked me out via text. And I think that's why her initial response, her very first response, was that single word, sure. Kind of like, I think it was her way of an unimpressed tone, like, are you kidding me? Did he actually ask me out on a text? And it's just like, sure. I think it was her way. I didn't see it at the time because I was like, holy shit, she said yes. But looking back, I think her one word, unexcited response, sure, was her way of saying, you know, you really asked me out via text. And in closing, what's really lame, oh, I had the thought and then it went away. Oh, in closing, another thing that was really lame is she said, whether it's true or not, I don't know. I can't imagine why she would make this kind of thing up and be as a lie, but she had said she hadn't been asked out for, was it, I don't know if it was 8 or 9 or 10 years or something like that. And it was the first time she'd been asked out in, you know, a decade or close to a decade, whether that's true or not. I don't know why someone would make something like a negative thing up about themselves. Usually people would make up a positive thing about them, you know, that's not true, but whatever. So I thought that if that is true, that she hadn't actually been asked out for a decade or close to a decade, she's gonna, you know, the first person who asks her out, she's gonna criticize, you know, the method in which I asked her out. I mean, that's one reason, one of the other benefits to being single. It's just like, in my experience, women, you know, can be nuts, and it's just like, it's like they're an entirely different species. Like, sometimes what goes on in their mind or what doesn't go on in their mind boggles me. But I think that's that. I went over, you know, I try to keep these a little shorter than, you know, around the 10-minute mark, but I blabbed and blabbed for 3.5 minutes about shit that didn't even important, but whatever. There, I got it off my chest. Feel free to leave a comment what you guys think and what you've experienced regarding asking someone out via text. I personally think asking someone out is something that is such a, you know, it's like a compliment to the woman if you're asking her out. I just think that, you know, I just don't think you can do it in a negative way, or I mean, maybe I just haven't thought of a negative way to do it. But to me, the very act of asking someone out is complimentary to them. So I don't understand how it would, you know, how anyone could possibly take offense to being asked out. But again, you know, leave it to a woman to take offense to something that's complimentary. But thank you very much for watching another in my series of, just, I don't know if this qualifies as a rant, but it's just something I had to get off my chest since 2011. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.